Sorry, guys, I'm at work, so I
Okay.
still have
Hello to
to
everybody.
do things. I'm sorry, I'm at work still, so if you see me moving around, it's just because I'm listening to the headset, but I'm here. Okay,
Okay.
no problem.
So, good evening to everybody. I'm Nicole Ferrara, and I'm here to present to you the seventh session, whose topic is leadership in hospitality and catering. We choose this content because we think that being a leader is not easy, and therefore we ask our speakers to talk about their experience in being leaders in their work environment. Now, my colleague Fateme is going to introduce you the first speaker.
Thank you, Nicole. Hello and welcome to the first part of 7th session of Fate the Moment virtual event. We are super excited about this part as our guest is amazing. He's a Pakistani human resource and training manager with over 9 years experience in hospitality industry. He's worked for several 5-star and luxurious hotels in different countries such as Shaza hotels in Saudi Arabia and Rami Group of hotels in Kingdom of Bahrain. He has a lots of outstanding achievements during his working life, for instance, doing first ever management training program in hospitality industry of Saudi Arabia and successful pre-opening of Shaza Makkah Hotel. Let's welcome Ahmed Awais Kiani. Mr. Kiani, it's so good to have you here and thank you for joining us. And now I'm starting with our first question, if I can, okay. When and how did you start to be a leader in your work environment?
First of all, thank you so much, Fatma. Kudos to the entire team. You guys are putting up a great show over here. The day I wear my suit, my skin as a hotelier, and the day I got into the shoes was the first day I started to believe myself as a leader. It has to be from the very first day. Hospitality is a profession that is not by force; it's by choice. So when you do it by choice, you have to get in the shoes of a leader from the very first day, and that's what started. Yes, please. Tell me, Fatma,
Thank you.
are you going to ask questions first, or do I get a chance to speak first? What is the forum? How do you take it ahead?
As you prefer. If you would like
Yes.
to speak before, you can, of course.
Great. By the way, any question you'll be having, you can ask in the end. So I'll just touch my notes on the topic that you gave to me, leadership in hospitality and catering. I'll go a little bit off the note to start it with. The most important thing that in hospitality a hotelier has to understand is that we working in hospitality industry in hotels or restaurants have to consider hotel as a living body, and any living body has a soul. Why I'm saying that, you must be thinking that it's a building. How can it be a living body? The only reason is, like a living body, we experience different kind of emotions like anger, like surprise, like happiness. Similarly, in hospitality industry, inside a hotel experiences a lot of things. A restaurant experiences many of them. Sometimes it's happiness, sometimes surprise, sometimes fear, sometimes anger. So you have to consider it as a soul. So when you search for a soul, you need to understand that a leadership quality requires you to have that vision and that soul inside you. Now, what could be a vision for a leader who's working in the hospitality industry? The most important thing which I realized in my experience was that it has to be uh, recognition, appreciation, and celebration for those who serve with the intent in heart. Yani, as a leader, we need to recognize and appreciate those people who serve with this intent in the heart. Uh, you need to consider the facts that are very important. I'm very sorry, actually, I was on a movement. I stopped at my house just to get this. So I'm doing it with mobile phone. I was not able to do it with my computer. I hope you
no
guys
problem.
understand. Okay, so let me adjust it 1 minute. It keeps dropping. Yes. So uh, now similarly, when you recognize these people, when you appreciate these people, what happens is that they serve your guests with the intent in heart. But let's see what's happening in the current scenario of leadership right now. When we go to a hotel or restaurant, you see a server, he comes by, he says, please, how many people? We say four. And then he takes you to a table of his choice. You know, he has a table which is cleaned, allocated. He'll make you sit over there. After that, someone will come, sir, would you like to place an order now? Or would you like to have an order after 5 minutes or 3 minutes? No, I'll place an order after 2 minutes. Another guy will come standing over there, looking at me. Then he'll say, sir, my name is Chris, and I'm your server for today. Then I'll say, oh my God, so that's the reason you are here? I know you are here for this. The problem is that what is happening is that leaders have started putting process above the people. Yani process comes first, people come second. We are so much merged into standards that the leadership has stopped focusing on the basic intent of hospitality, that is hospitality from the heart. There's a very beautiful term. This is called service by default. So what is happening is this service by default at the moment. People feel that they are more like permitted in a restaurant. They are more like they have to take approvals instead of welcoming them, instead of making them feel they belong to that place. So what we need to do as a leader is, first of all, we need to understand that hospitality industry starts from here, from the heart. Standards are very important. They are, we have brand. When I was in Marriott in Islamabad, Pakistan, we had a lot of standards. Rami had standards, Kempinski had standards, Shaza had standards. They are important, but engagement starts when the hospitality starts from here. So we need to look for people who are passionate, who understand the real meaning of hotelier in hospitality industry. That will eventually lead to your benchmark, and that will eventually increase the bottom line that investors and owners are looking into. Next important part is that we need to understand two major qualities that leader has to keep in it. One is people skills and one is business skills. In business skills, you have many different skills, but I'll highlight few of them. One of that is respecting and understanding the diversity. Hospitality industry is not an industry where you'll have people from one origin. You'll have people from different race, ethnicity, religion, background, colors, and similarly, your guests are going to be likewise. So you need to, first of all, respect and understand that. Second and important thing is delegation. You cannot do everything on your own. As a leader, you need to delegate tasks and you need to empower your teams to take decision at the right time, at the right place. Third and important part that I would like to share as a people skills is to have problem solving skills understanding. Now, there are two things in it. One is fighting the problem, one is solving the problem. Mostly in hospitality, we see a person coming and reporting, sir, this happened with me. Can you please get this person? Oh no, I'm from housekeeping. Can you please contact someone from F&B service? No, you are the GM at the moment. When the guest is contacting you, he sees a name tag, he sees a pin. You are the GM at that time. You have to solve that problem. Mutual respect will be the fourth point, very important in people skills, but not a mutual respect between a leader, a mutual respect environment that has to be created in where you're working. This is the responsibility of leader. And last and most important, how to manage diverse needs of diverse groups. You have to change your leadership. The new leadership is called situational leadership. So you have to change your leadership styles depending on different kind of situations. So apart from that, the second point is business skills. When we discuss people skills, that is one part of leadership. The other is business skills. Now, business skills require you to be tech savvy. Everything has changed. I remember when I was in Marriott, there used to be cards. Now I was looking at Marriott reservation system. You can just have a booking card on your mobile phone. That's it. In our hotels at Shaza, we used to have menus, and now they have shifted to iPads. And now, by the way, due to COVID-19, they have shifted to QR codes. You need to use your own mobile phone. So there has to be a shift. So you need to be very tech savvy. You need to have very strong bookkeeping skills. You need to be well organized. And on top of everything, as a leader, you need to pay a very strong attention to details. forecasting, risk mitigation. There are many areas. These are some other areas in which a business skills need to be strong when you're when you're looking into leading. Now, what is happening is that world is changing, hospitality industry is changing. We used to have before 360 manning in a Medina hotel. In Riyadh, we used to have 180, Makkah 160. Downsizing is happening. Multiple responsibilities are coming, but expectations of guests are not reducing. Expectations remain the same. So we as a leader in this time, in this difficult time, we need to step in our shoes of our colleagues who are working there. We need to understand what they go through. We need to admire, celebrate, and we need to appreciate them for what they are doing. Because what will happen in the day is that if we'll not do that, they're not going to give that service to the guests. They'll get worked out. They'll get exhausted. 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, just no appreciation, no recognition, and they'll feel they are left out because of this. If we have as a leader a combination of this, we can have a very good environment in our hospitality industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. 𝙃𝙀🙗.
Thank you so much, Mr. 𝙃𝙀🙗, for these insights. For freshers like us, these things are really very important to understand so that we can implement these things into our work and improve our skills further. It was inspiring and very interesting at the same time, listening about your experience. Now I give the floor to my colleague, Anna Maria, who is going to introduce you to the second speaker.
Thank you, Ansh. I'm going to introduce you. One moment, I want to share my screen. Now you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening to all. I'm going to introduce you Mr. John 𝙃𝙪𝙢𝙖 and his story. Since graduating culinary school and FIU, he has dedicated more than 30 years to a career in culinary arts and hospitality, working in both front of house and kitchen bakery operation for hotels, cruise ship, premier catering companies, and 2 of the top 3 global food service management. In position that continually increased its responsibility from an executive chef to a regional vice president role. Today, John teaches young hospitality professionals various culinary and other courses as a faculty of culinary, industry consulting, and at the Chaplin School of Hospitality Management and Tourism at Florida University. So, John, we are truly happy to have you with us. So, welcome, and please go with your intervention and speech.
Thank you, Anna Maria. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Dr. Sherry Andre, my colleague at FIU, for the invitation. So far, the speakers have been really awesome. You're getting a lot of information here. So hopefully what I'm able to share with you today, and I'll ask Nicole to share the slides that I put together. I just have a couple slides, and hopefully you get as much out of my information that that I can share. Yeah, and it's also nice to see some familiar faces here in the audience. So our challenge was to think of ways that we can demonstrate leadership in hospitality and catering. Next slide. And as Anna Maria mentioned, I grew up in the catering business. So in the food service business, I was knee-high to my dad making pastries in his bake shop. So, and then I worked my way through college doing catering events with Bill Hansen. Next slide, please. And so for me, one of the basics, one of the first things we always talk about in school and in catering and anything is communication. And the students that are on that have had me in class know that this is near and dear to my heart. When you talk to professionals that are out there in the industry, it's one of the top things. You see, I highlighted this Education Week survey here. 80% of the executives that are out there hiring people are looking for good verbal skills. And that's not only good verbal skills, good written communication skills. And they aren't finding that we're having that in necessarily in the graduating students. So, you know, it starts with, you know, how are you speaking? Are you speaking with passion? Passion, the words represent 7% of your success. Your selection of words represents 7% of your success in your communication. 38% is your tone, and then 55% is your body language. Your body language, how you present yourself. Very different. The guests, some of your guests here saw me in a chef's coat yesterday, serving them a delicious dinner. So very different presenting in a formal presentation like this. And so how we present ourselves, the body language we use is extremely important in our level of communication skills. So communication first and foremost in being a good leader and being effective at it. So I challenge everybody to work on their communication skills. And then written communication skills, you think about written communication skills, particularly in the catering environment, it's all about checklists. Whenever you do plans for an event, you should have a checklist for that event. You should have a floor plan. You should have a work schedule. All of those things are part of your overall plan. The more detail and more investment you put in that plan and communicating that. I loved hearing Ahmed's talk about vision, right? And it's great to have that vision. You need to communicate that well to everybody on your team so that they are all on the same page as you in sharing that vision. You're all pulling towards the same goal in the same direction, and using the written communications and checklists as a tool to reinforce that. Next slide, please. The other thing I'm really big on is setting expectations, and the level of expectations that you set are those that can be arisen to. Next slide, please. And there is the idea of this self-fulfilling prophecy of expectations. So if your expectations are, you know, 80%, that level of satisfaction in your guests and your food, and you're satisfied with 80%, you should be expecting, you should be demanding 100% satisfaction, 100% quality in everything that you do. That doesn't mean that you're always able to achieve that, but having that expectation, whether it's in your personal life or your business life, means that you can move forward to that goal of achieving it. So you always want to have high standards, high expectations for yourself and your team. And again, that's another thing that should be communicated, both verbally and in writing, what the expectations are. So reinforce those expectations with good communication. Inspect what you expect. So the things that you, when you are a leader and you're walking around an event and you are looking at a place setting and looking to see if silverware is polished, if glasses are polished, those are things that are important to you. And if they are important, then put them on a checklist and make sure that when something is not to your standard, that you point that out to your team. Because only then will they be able to move that forward and achieve that the next time. The students that have had me in my class know that there are two things that are most important in my class. Number one, come on time. And number two, come with some passion and some enthusiasm, some engagement. Because I'm going to bring that every day. And it starts with that. Those are the two easiest things that you can bring. If you bring those two things, timeliness and enthusiasm, passion, I can teach you anything. Absent those two things, they tell me you don't care, right? And so another thing that Ahmed said was, this business chooses you. I love hearing that, right? Think about that. This business chooses you. If you aren't happy in the world of hospitality, then choose something else. Right? Because the people that are happiest in this business are gonna do this a really long time and enjoy it the most. Next slide, please. And then lastly, and I heard Shanil talk about this, adaptability, flexibility. Next slide, please. You know, with all the stuff that could potentially go wrong, not that it is, but you need to prepare for it, right? Think about all the things that could possibly go wrong. I did a lot of sales training, and whenever before we were going to present to an important client, we did in the internal team, we did what we called a murder board. And that was trying to identify all of the potential questions that could come up that would cause that client concern for us moving forward. Whether it's in the sales process, someone booking a sales or catering event, or it is in the execution of event, something, someone's late, the bride and groom are late taking pictures, getting to the, what is your backup for that? What is your contingency? If something goes wrong, what are your solutions? It's easy, again, as Ahmed said, it's easy to point out something that's wrong, but you need to be the one that comes up with solutions. And so, particularly for things that go potentially wrong in a catering event, I like to think about things, I'd rather give something than take something away. Meaning, I'd rather give the guest something extra special. If something goes wrong, if the entrees didn't come out right or timely, or we ran out of a special appetizer or a special hors d'oeuvre that the guests like, or they just weren't happy with something, right? And they may be coming to you and they may be asking you for a discount. The discount is the last thing that I want to do. I want to have things in my back pocket, something, I'm sorry that happened, but can I offer you, I have this espresso cart. You didn't book that in your initial booking. It was something that you had cut because you were trying to manage expenses. I'll bring that out. I'll serve you some awesome coffees for dessert. I've got this extra special champagne. We can upgrade your selection on what you selected for champagne to this nicer champagne. I've been holding it for something special. Give me the opportunity to close this event out strongly with a really nice toast with this special champagne. The financials work to your advantage much better when you're giving something away versus discounting your service. And the impression that a guest has is 180 degrees opposite what you're doing. So focus on finding solutions to problems, figure out, and I don't even like to call them problems, right? Sometimes it is that 7% of the words that we use. Choose your words. I look at that as a challenge or an opportunity to fix something. And if you can fix something, a guest where they've had a challenge or they haven't been pleased with something, they're going to bring so much more loyalty to you as a provider. So, and with that, I'm happy to take any questions. Next slide.
Thank you, Mr. Masi. It was really fascinating listening about your presentation. And I would like to thank you both, Mr. Chiani and Mr. Masi, for your presentations. And I would like to ask if there are some questions for our speakers.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Hamza.
So I would like to ask a question to Mr. Chiani, but first of all, I would like to thank him that he made himself available within a short notice of like 1 day, and all he is like doing for like Pakistani hospitality and tourism sector. So now coming to the question, can anyone this is reflecting back? I don't know. So the question is that there are a lot of youngsters over here, and they would like to know that what kind of path should they adopt? Like they are going to be future leaders. So what should be the their strategy in order to be a better leader in the future?
First of all, I would like to give you guys one very small example. You guys are graduating. I don't know if this class is graduating now or which year, but you are graduating at a very perfect time. You must be thinking or laughing why I'm saying that. You are graduating at the most difficult times of hospitality industry. It can't get more difficult than this. So what you are going to experience is going to be the most toughest time that is going to make you a very good leader. You know, you cannot be a leader without going through tides. You become a leader if you go through tides. So that is just on a lighter note that I want to tell you. If you want to be a good leader, first of all, you need to understand that leader is not something, mostly we discuss and we say the leader is born, leader is made. Let's not get into that discussion, okay? You need to understand a leader goes through different kind of experience before he becomes a leader, okay? You need to be passionate in what you do. You need to believe in that. You need to ensure well-being. See, you guys are in well-being industry. It's not anything else. Just like doctors, just like army, it's a lifestyle. Okay, it's taking care of the guest. You are ensuring he's healthy, he's happy, he's satisfied, he feels home away from home. So be natural in what you do. In what you do, you need to be natural in that. Believe in yourself. Don't give up. It's not going to be an easy ride. It's going to be a bumpy ride. But one day, if you're committed to your goals, you're going to reach those goals. I remember when I started from Marriott, I was a coordinator in training department, and it was not allowed to me to go and deliver a training session. It's not allowed for a coordinator. And there was a time after that when I started designing training modules. So you need to be committed to the things that you're doing. Be persistent, and last and most important, be aware. As a hotelier, you should know something about everything and everything about the work you do. Please, this is a very important. Why I said something about everything? Today you meet someone from another part of the world. Tomorrow you meet someone from another part of the world. Different need, different guests, travelers, leisure, business. So you need to know something about everything to connect with the guest, to create a personal connection with the guest. And on top of that, you need to know everything about the work that you do, your department, your areas. You should be the strongest person in that. No one should be able to beat you in that. That's the key for you to become a leader in future. Thank you, Hamza.
Thank you.
Question?
I have a question. Can you hear me? Okay. Maybe for both the guesses, Chef John and Mr. Kiani, how are you thinking that we talk about the leadership? How are we better for the gender equality and in hospitality? How are we help to the women? They feel more inclusive. Most of the back of the house. So how are you dealing in the kitchen, and how are you dealing in all the part of our industry? It's so big. I want your feedback. Thank you.
Maybe it can start Mr. Masi and after Mr. Kiani.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. For me, I think it starts with us in the teaching profession, and it's about opportunity. Our student body is more than, I think the number is around 70% female. It starts with the professors that we have. We have about that balance in female professors, and then it's about opportunity. For me, I select a teaching assistant every semester, and the vast majority of those actually are women. So I think it's about expectations and giving opportunities. So the next generation, if our previous generation was not did not focus on it as much, but we certainly are focusing on it now. It is a huge point of the dean and the culture that we create. It's a huge part of our vision. And if we all buy into that vision, there will be opportunities for women and from those students and those people with diverse backgrounds as well, because we're focused on a huge opportunity. We just signed a partnership with Southern Glazer Wine and Spirits to found a diversity, equity, and inclusion position, which is going to make sure that we're centered on that at the university.
Thank you, Mr. Masi. And Mr. Kiani, if you want, you can answer now.
I would like to agree what Masi said exactly on the same point. It starts from the very first day. So in hospitality and hotels, when you're doing orientation with your colleagues, You remember I said when we were discussing people skills as a leader, you need to have a mutual respect environment. You need to create a mutual respect environment. So it has to start from there. Now, when I came in 2017 from Bahrain to Saudi, it was very different for me. Bahrain and Saudi, Bahrain is not known as Vegas of Gulf, and Saudi was different. I entered the hotel. We had literally one girl working in telephone operations. That's it. And now, more than a quarter of female colleagues, and 1/4 of female colleagues are working in every hotel of Shaza. And we are planning to actually convert our whole guest relation. We did, by the way, most of the departments. Guest in front of the house departments, not even back office. Back of the house, they are comfortable. They can sit in the office. They can do that. But we are pushing them to come to front of the house departments. That all comes from the leadership. You have to give them confidence. You have to empower them. You have to give them that. There are three kinds of people. Okay, first of all, those people who are ready to grab an opportunity. They are prepared. Train comes, it opens, they jump in and they get that opportunity. Second, who know the opportunity came, but they were not ready. They jumped in the train, next station, they were off the train. Third and last, who were never ready, never knew opportunity came. So we are giving the opportunity to those ladies, those women who are ready to take it. And you'll be surprised to listen to this, but in last 3 years, from 4%, it jumped up to 30 to 40% of women in hospitality industry in Saudi. Okay, so this is how it is. You have to lay down a vision. You have to follow it up. You have to create a culture, and you have to empower them with this. This is, I think, so I agree with the plan of Mercy that he shared.
Thank you, Mr. Chiani. I would like to thank you again, both our speakers that were amazing, and we are really grateful that you join us. And now you have a few minutes to do our post-evaluation. I will share the picture with the QR code, and I will put in the chat the link. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye, guys.